Today is Monday, July 20th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're on Bill's story. We will be reading page 10. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 2. We'll read page 32. We're almost done with that chapter. And of course, we read Just for Today from N.A. and Al-Anon's Courage to Change. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. It's another day sober, another opportunity to work the program and live a life of integrity. I think I've shared it before, but I love this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. So if you don't mind, I'll just go ahead and read it real quick. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You've done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. So guess what, guys? This is the best day of the year, right? I love it. So stay tuned too, guys, because we got an email with some experience, strength, and hope from a dear friend. Her name is Joanna. She's in the UK, and she is celebrating. She's actually past this now, but she was celebrating 2 years of sobriety as of July 11th. And she's got an incredible testimony that I cannot wait to share at the end of this episode. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading, Bill is drinking, and he's so excited to have his old drinking buddy come over. But things don't work out the way he thought they would, by a long shot. So Ebby shows up, and he is sober. And finally, Bill's like, "What's going on with you?" And he's like, "I've got religion." But he does no preaching. He just explains that there were some people that spoke on his behalf when he was in some legal trouble here, talked to the judge, and talked the judge into taking Ebby through this program, this practical program of action. These were the Oxford groupers that had a lot of Christian principles in their program. And now we're talking about confession, restitution, service. So that's why Ebby's at Bill's house right now. He's just talking to him about it. The simple program of action. And this is going to make a profound impact on Bill. So we are going to read page 10 today. He talked for hours. Childhood memories rose before me. I could almost hear the sound of the preacher's voice as I sat on still Sundays, way over there on the hillside. There was that proffered temperance pledge that I never signed. My grandfather's good-natured contempt of some church folk and their doings. His insistence that the spheres really did have their music, but his denial of the preacher's right to tell him how he must listen. His fearlessness as he spoke of these things just before he died. These recollections well up from the past. They made me swallow hard. That wartime day in old Winchester Cathedral came back again. I'd always believed in a power greater than myself. I had often pondered these things. I was not an atheist. Few people really are. For that means blind faith in the strange proposition that this universe originated in a cipher and aimlessly rushes nowhere. My intellectual heroes, the chemists and the astronomers, even the evolutionists, suggest vast laws and forces at work. Despite contrary indications, I had little doubt that a mighty purpose and rhythm underlay all. How could there be so much of precise, immutable law and no intelligence? I simply had to believe in a spirit of the universe, who knew neither time nor limitation, but that was as far as I had gone. With ministers and the world's religions, I parted right there. When they talked of a God personal to me who was love, superhuman strength and direction, I became irritated, and my mind snapped shut against such a theory. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And today we are going to be talking about the guy who does have faith but still can't seem to be sober. Bottom of page 31 and page 32. Now let's take the guy full of faith but still reeking of the alcohol. He believes he's devout. His religious observance is scrupulous. He's sure he still believes in God but suspects that God doesn't believe in him. He takes pledges and more pledges. Following each, he not only drinks again, but acts worse than the last time. Valiantly, he tries to fight alcohol, imploring God's help, but the help doesn't come. What then can be the matter? To clergymen, doctors, friends, and families, the alcoholic who means well and tries hard is a heartbreaking riddle. To most AAs, he's not. There are too many of us who've been just like him and found the riddle's answer. This answer has to do with the quality of faith rather than its quantity. This has been our blind spot. We suppose we had humility when we really hadn't. We suppose that we had been serious about religious practices when, upon honest appraisal, we found that we'd only been superficial. Or, going to the other extreme, we had wallowed in emotionalism and had mistaken it for true religious feeling. In both cases, we had been asking something for nothing. The fact was that we really hadn't cleaned house so that the grace of God could enter us and expel the obsession. In no deep or meaningful sense had we ever taken stock of ourselves, made amends to those we had harmed, or freely given to any other human being without any demand for reward. We'd not even prayed rightly. We had always said, "God grant me my wishes," instead of "Thy will be done." The love of God and man we understood not at all. Therefore we remained self-deceived, and so incapable of receiving enough grace to restore us to sanity. NA just for today, July 20th. Step 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 1. The first step begins with we, and there's a reason for that. There is great strength in making a verbal admission of our powerlessness. And when we go to meetings and make this admission, we gain more than personal strength. We become members, part of a collective we that allows us together to recover from our addiction. With membership in NA comes a wealth of experience. The experience of other addicts who have found a way to recover from their disease. No longer must we try to solve the puzzle of our addiction on our own. When we honestly admit our powerlessness over our addiction, we can begin to search for a better way to live. We won't be searching alone. We're in good company. Just for today, I will start the day with an admission of my powerlessness over addiction. I'll remind myself that the first step starts with we, and know that I never have to be alone with my disease again. Courage to Change, July 20th. In the past, joy was a rare visitor to many of us. Al-Anon recovery often leads us to find it more frequently. But instead of sitting back and enjoying these pleasant moments, we tend to cling desperately to happiness, trying to freeze time and hold change at bay, as if our joy will be snatched away forever the moment our guard is down. We can become too busy avoiding change to enjoy the gifts we fear to lose. By clutching at what we most want to keep, we lose it all the more rapidly. Change is inevitable. We can depend on that. When we become willing to accept change, we make room for a loving God. By letting go of our efforts to influence the future, we become freer to experience the present, to feel all of our feelings while they are happening, and to more fully enjoy these precious moments of joy with which we are blessed. Today's reminder. Today I'll try to open myself to receive the abundance God holds out to me by experiencing what is and allowing God to decide what will be. Quote from Alan Watts: "The harder we try to catch hold of the moment, to seize a pleasant sensation, the more elusive it becomes. It is like trying to clutch water in one's hands. The harder one grips, the faster it slips through one's fingers." All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some beautiful stuff. Man, it's hard to pick one, so I'll just make this real quick. The courage to change, man, that is spot on. You know, it's so funny. There's an old Seinfeld bit where it talks about folks who, they spend their whole day getting ready, right, to go to a certain place. They spend their whole day getting ready for it. And then they go to the place, and then they spend their whole time while they're there getting ready to get back home. We got to get back. But that reminds me of how I've lived it at many times. Instead of just enjoying this moment, being in it, putting the phone down, looking around, being observant, using my 5 senses to just cherish this. And then instead of saying, oh no, well, this moment's going to end very soon, just enjoy it. Take it in, you know? I think that's beautiful. And it reminds me of that, I think it's Fred Rogers maybe that quoted this, or I've heard it somewhere, but it was, don't be sad because it's over. Smile because it happened. And I just think that's a great way to look at it. What a beautiful reading there. And then, of course, out of the 12 and 12, talking about cleaning house. I was probably one of those ones of faith that, like, I believed in God and everything. And I was praying, God, please help me to stay sober. And then I'd rationalize my drink again. And then kickstart the allergy again, right? But I had never done any of the things the steps tell me to do. I never tried to admit that I was powerless over something and make a decision to turn my will and my life over to God and pray for His will to be done and to fit into His plan instead of fitting into mine. I never tried literally taking a personal inventory and writing things down, pen to paper, and let alone sharing it with somebody. I never tried these things and getting a different perspective on things and then making direct amends or indirect amends. I never tried these things, you know? So it wasn't until I tried these things that somehow, as the 12 steps suggests, I received a spiritual awakening. That's what I love about this program, you know? It's so practical. It helps me put my faith into action. Meaningful and pretty easy to understand way. It's not always easy to do, but it's easy to understand. But my friends, today we have a beautiful email from a dear friend named Joanna from the UK who reached out recently as of July 11th. And man, this is just beautiful stuff. I think I've read her first email before. But I asked her, I said, hey, if you'd ever want to share your experience, strength, and hope, I'd be honored to pass it on. And here's what she had to say. So thank you, Joanna. And I'll just go ahead and read this message here. She said, hi, Rob. I would love the opportunity to share my experience, strength, and hope. I suffer from alcoholism for 14 years. For so long, I believed everyone else was the problem and never stopped to look in the mirror and realize that I had my own part to play. After 2 relapses, I finally reached the point where I had had enough of the blackouts, the pain, and losing the people around me. One thing I'm truly grateful for is that, as someone who had relapsed, I knew exactly who to call. On my birthday, I walked into an AA meeting wearing a baseball cap to hide a black eye. All my birthday plans had been canceled. But little did I know, my life was about to change forever. That was the day that I met my sponsor, who's been an absolute angel in my life. Since then, I've had many spiritual experiences and opportunities that I never imagined, including breath work and meditation retreats. I completed the 12 steps from the Big Book, and a year later, I bought a new copy. Going through it again in a Big Book study has given me a completely new understanding of the program, why we think the way we do, how alcoholism affects our minds, and how to face life's challenges with an alcoholic brain. Today, I also have the privilege of sponsoring someone who's approached me for help. It has taught me so much, and it continues to strengthen my own recovery. I'm incredibly blessed to have a loving and understanding partner who's taken the time to learn about alcoholism, along with my 2 stepchildren and my 17-year-old son. They love me, and I love them all more than words can say. Every single day, I am grateful for that baseball cap and black eye, because without that day, I truly don't believe that I'd be where I am today. We really do have a solution. This program is a way of life, and the people you meet along the journey become part of your recovery story. Thank you again, Rob, and please keep those coffee cups coming. Joanna from the UK, celebrating 2 years of sobriety as of July 11th. Beautiful stuff, Joanna. Wow, thank you so much. And she sent an attached photo with her medallion, and you can just see the joy on her face and the life returning. And that is like one of the most encouraging things you can see. Absolutely love it. And just what a powerful reminder. Just there's so many things there that you said that I just absolutely adore and agree with. After 2 relapses, I finally reached the point where I had enough blackouts and pain and losing people around me. Sounds like that old sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? It's beautiful. And sounds like your sponsor has been a huge light in your life, as has mine. That's amazing. And then right here, since then, I've had many spiritual experiences and opportunities I never imagined. Completed the 12 steps from the Big Book, brought your own Big Book, and yeah, going back through it again has given me a complete new understanding of the program, why we think the way we do, how alcoholism affects our minds, and how to face life's challenges with an alcoholic brain. You're exactly right. The more and more I read through this, the more and more I learn. And I don't know if it's like experience shapes my perception or what, but yeah, I get something completely different out of it every time. Beautiful. What a beautiful message of hope. And that now that you're working with other people, it's awesome. It's just awesome. One of the best ways that we can pay back the ones who took time to help us is to pay it forward to the newcomer. And I love that. So thank you so much, Joanna. You have absolutely made my day. And I hope to hear more from you during your recovery journey. And don't worry, those coffee cups, as a matter of fact, I'm drinking from a Ninja Turtle one right now. They're not going anywhere. Thank you so much for the experience, strength, and hope. And you have certainly blessed me today. So with that, my friends, I think that's the best way we can close a podcast. So I hope you all have a good one. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.